I want you to think of the most evil villain you can think of, one that you hate, one that makes you feel angry. And think of why this person or thing makes you feel that way. Why does it make you feel anger? What's the difference between them and the protagonist? And while you're thinking of that, I'm going to go on to my choice villain. Makes it pretty easy, Voldemort. So Voldemort is the antagonist in the Harry Potter series. And this person or thing, I don't really know what it is, makes us feel anger as you watch or read the Harry Potter series. So movies, literature, try to connect with people's emotions to persuade them or to connect the audience with the characters. So then you'll keep reading, to keep informed, to keep engaged in whatever you are doing. So this appeal to our emotions is rhetoric. And for those that have a hard time understanding rhetoric, we'll get into that. But we're going to talk about a certain type of rhetoric, the rhetoric of anger. Why it's used, how it's used, and how can we recognize it? Those are the questions that we're going to dive into today. So back to what rhetoric is. Plainly, for me, this is a definition that helps. It's the art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing. So authors, directors, whoever it may be, use rhetoric to connect with the audience. That's how it's effective. So how is anger, the rhetoric of anger, effective? People like to feel things. If you're not feeling, you're usually bored and don't like the situation that you're in. So here's a big list of emotions we as humans feel. Some of these we like to feel. Some of these emotions affect us to do something. If you're scared, you're feeling terror, you run away. Gets your heart pumping. You know, if you're feeling joy, you want to stay there wherever you're at, or you know, you like what you're reading or watching. But we're going to talk about this little red section. The appeal of anger, the rhetoric of anger. Why would somebody use anger to persuade or connect with an audience? That's what we're going to talk about. So, the rhetoric of anger is often used to make an audience feel strongly about a topic, or to get behind a topic of the reader, of the director or writer or speaker. And we have to have this question in our heads because we're morally good people. Is anger good or bad? That's something we face every day. Is anger good or bad? For most of us, we think anger is bad. We shouldn't feel anger. But we're all human and we feel anger. And people use that maybe against us or for us to make us do things. So effective uses of the rhetoric of anger are often seen to rally forces. When I was in high school, my coaches in sports would use anger in their halftime speeches to get us pumped and rallied together, to get us to face the other team and come out and play better. That anger that we would feel from his speech would make us change how we were playing, to get us to go and get things done. And we can see that to enforce shared norms is often used in politics or religion. People use the rhetoric of anger when they're talking about some wide norm or idea that the speaker or writer feels should be worldwide, should be a shared idea. And the opposite side, we speak angrily about them. We make you feel angry about those that feel the opposite than we do because we're right. And it's also used to propose an attack. We can see that with rallies for war and other things. So we're going to go back to this Voldemort scenario. Why do we feel so angry against Voldemort? Well, he's a bad guy. We see him torture and kill and do evil things. And then we see Harry Potter, this nice kid who does good, helps people, saves people. And of course, we're going to choose the good guy because we're good people. And the author wants us to have anger towards Voldemort. And we see this as a justification for actions that Harry Potter takes. I think we can all agree that killing is bad, but we feel angry towards Voldemort. So this rationalizes killing. When we see Harry Potter and his friends killing Voldemort and his followers, it's okay. So that's very effective. We can also see with 9/11, a very real situation where political cartoons were used to rally America together and to propose an attack, to attack the terrorists. We see it with Pearl Harbor. These political cartoons use the rhetoric of anger to propose an attack, and it got it done. So how can we know that it's used, we know that it's used effectively because we've seen it in the past in movies. So how can we recognize this? Maybe the next time you're watching a movie, focus on why you're feeling a certain way towards a character. Or when you're having a speech, you're listening to one, what are the feelings you're feeling? It's very effective. Anger, the rhetoric of anger is effective. But then it goes back to that question, is it good or bad? It's effective. But the important thing that we can do as an audience or someone speaking or writing, we can recognize our anger, recognize what we're feeling, or recognize what we're trying others to feel. But it's all up to us. Do we use the rhetoric of anger or not? You decide.